And now, to present the RTDNF's 2019 Lifetime Achievement Award, please welcome the presiding judge of the 14th Judicial Court of Texas, the Honorable Eric V. Moyer.
Good evening. It is an honor to present to you, to introduce to most of you, your Lifetime Achievement Award winner, Dale Hansen. The one word which best describes Dale Hansen is fearless. It's not the fearlessness that comes from having been hired after he'd been fired no less than 8 times. It's not even the fearlessness that comes from an unheard of tenure of 35 years at the same station, watching scores of managers and bosses come and go. It's the fearlessness shared by many in this room, best informed by the wisdom of the book of Matthew, which says in chapter 10, verse 26, "Fear not, for there is nothing hidden which will not be revealed." Dale Hansen's career has been fearless. How fearless is he, you ask? I'm glad. Dale actually wrestled a bear 2 times. He's more known for the legendary fight on a Sunday night, trading punches, actually receiving punches, from former Dallas Cowboys head coach Barry Switzer on Dale's live television show. Switzer had been giving his typical non-responsive answers. Dale called him on it, and the fists started flying. The commentator Alexis de Tocqueville once said, "I love a free press, not for the good it does, but for the hypocrisy that it reveals." Dale Hansen is fearless in his craft. There used to be a line many of you know that went, "When it's important, America turns to CBS." Actually, that really does typify Dale in Texas. Whenever there is a sports story in North Texas, whether it is a Super Bowl victory, although very few people can remember that happening in Dallas, whether it is the loss of an icon like Tom Landry, whether it is exposing the corruption of a major university in scandal, when it's important in sports in Texas, America, North Texas turns to Dale Hansen. But it's not his journalistic chops that earned him this award tonight. It's the commentaries that are viewed from Texarkana to Tel Aviv. Dale first exposed and revealed his fearlessness after the Penn State sex abuse scandal, when people were suggesting that individuals who'd been abused couldn't possibly keep it quiet for decades. Dale had the answer, the staggeringly fearless answer. He said, "If you think you don't know someone who is the victim of abuse, you're wrong, because you all know me." No time have I ever seen that kind of courage from an individual. Dale Hansen called out the Dallas Cowboys for their refusal to bring Michael Sam, noting the hypocrisy of a locker room that could accommodate drug dealers, wife beaters, accused murderers, but somehow couldn't get past a man who loved whom he chose. In Dallas, exposing that hypocrisy was fearless. We're going to see a bit about Dale in just a moment. What we won't see is what a great friend he is, the kind of friend we all want, but so few people deserve. Dale is the kind of friend who, if I called at 3 in the morning and told him I'd murdered 3 people, the next sound I'd hear was him banging on my door with a bag of lime, a shovel, and a false passport to get me out of the country. And unlike every journalist in this room, he would never ask a single question. Please enjoy learning a little bit more about your Lifetime Achievement Award winner.
This is Dale Hansen's Sports Special.
Hello, everybody. We do sport from here on.
When he stepped to the microphone for the first time in Texas, Dale Hansen changed the world we knew. The former radio disc jockey turned sportscaster from Logan, Iowa, debuted at WFAA in Dallas in the spring of 1983.
David Zerwick, writing in the Times-Herald, said Channel 8 Sports Special will be a real good show if Dale Hansen can stay out of the way. People say I'm a smart aleck, I'm a jerk, I'm opinionated, I'm controversial, and unfortunately, they're probably right sometimes. Hope I can do that when I'm 76. Right now, I just want to be 36.
It was fun to go to Cowboys training camp and say, whose skin is he going to crawl under this time?
Well, maybe I don't. We make it all up.
You do. You're the guy who told us last week, walked up to Jerry.
Do me a favor.
You said that Tony Casillas had a brain tumor. You guys manufacture everything.
I did not do that. I asked the question.
People just don't realize how difficult it is to work and live in Dallas and regularly push back on not only the Cowboys, but Jerry Jones.
72% of the people that we polled say they have a favorable opinion of the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, think how good those numbers would be if you'd like won a playoff game this decade.
Well, maybe there's some method to my madness when you get that. Just keep that bait out there.
Dale is the uncle, cousin, brother we have that in any holiday you can count on to say what all of us are thinking.
Dale has grown into the kind of voice that inspires all of us in our industry and certainly here at WFAA to look for more original, authentic voices just like his.
SMU has received the toughest penalty ever given a major college football program.
The death penalty banning a collegiate football program from competing for at least 1 year has been given out only once, to SMU in 1987. It was the result of WFAA TV's exhaustive investigation into the university's pay-for-play scandal in the 1980s. With Hansen at the wheel, the station took on the university and some of the most prominent political leaders in the state of Texas trying to get to the truth.
We asked Henry Lee Parker what contact he's had with the Stanley family.
I have never met his mother and father.
He says you paid him.
No, Dale, that is wrong. Entirely.
Did you ever send money to his parents?
No.
Is that your letter?
The one in your left hand, really specific.
The one in the left hand specifically with your initials on the SMU
That
stationery?
is mine, yes. Did you write it?
Everybody was lamenting, oh my God, the death penalty, the death penalty, the death penalty, you know. And then all of a sudden, Dale Hansen popped up on the screen and he says, well, you know, they do kill you in Texas. And I mean, the minute I heard that, I just spit out my food laughing so hard because, first of all, it was true. Secondly, it was funny. And thirdly, it was direct and to the point. And that's what I came to expect from Dale Hansen.
In the 1990s, Hansen started going unplugged, using his microphone to challenge us to see that power and privilege concede nothing without a voice.
And if you don't think white privilege is a fact, you don't understand America.
Dale's Unplugged is must-see TV. I don't ever remember seeing one that didn't make me take a step back and say, wow, I never thought of it quite like that. You know what? He's right.
If Hardy knocks on your front door to take your daughter out for a night on the town, the man you cheer now, you would shoot his ass through the glass.
In a country where people of color are 6 times more likely to be incarcerated than white people, where rank is often based on race, sex, and wealth, his commentaries beg the question, where's the acceptance if you only love those who are just like you? In 2014, University of Missouri football player Michael Sam publicly revealed that he was gay.
I'm not always comfortable when a man tells me he's gay. I don't understand his world, but I do understand that he's part of mine.
As a gay person, we really do need people like you. We need heterosexual people that speak out and say this is not okay.
They just automatically assume that a Michael Sam can't play in the NFL if he's gay. They automatically assume that an old fat white guy from Texas would be opposed to that. And I think we're slowly breaking down these barriers on both sides.
Yeah, I agree.
There's a part of Dale that is a defender of those who are weakest.
I think if Dale's probably being honest, at least, you know, my encounters with him, he certainly likes sports. I don't think sports is what motivates him.
America's problem has come to Dallas now, and our lieutenant governor blames the peaceful protesters because our lieutenant governor is a fool.
The unplugged commentaries have given him a platform to really talk about bigger issues.
My best friend in high school was killed in Vietnam, and Carol Meyer will be 18 years old forever, and he did not die, so that you can decide who is a patriot and who loves America more.
It was riveting television then, and it continues to be riveting television today, because it comes from a place of integrity.
My dad hit my mom once, at least only once that I ever knew about, but he broke her nose. My dad was a big man, a truck driver, huge arms, and one of the strongest men I've ever known. But never has such a big man looked so small in the eyes of a little boy.
Perhaps the greatest compliment I could give you is when a young sportscaster asks me for advice, I always tell him, go to YouTube, watch Dale Hansen.
I think you're phenomenal. You're a treasure and a tribute to this industry, and it's been an honor and a privilege to watch you do what you've been doing for so many years.
Dale Hansen has shown us at TEGNET that there is nothing more powerful in this world than the well-written word delivered with authenticity and courage.
Dale used his privilege of his free speech and the pulpit of that desk on WFAA to make the world a better place. We're very, very proud, Dale, to call you one of our own.
He's been honored with the George Foster Peabody Award for Distinguished Journalism and the DuPont Columbia University Silver Baton, broadcast's equivalent of the famed Pulitzer Prize. But for the stories he tells, the wisdom he reveals, and the peers he inspires, Dale Hansen is not seeking honor, just sharing the lessons of his lifetime.
His legacy is unparalleled, and there'll be generations that will be talking about the impact of Dale Hansen.
Thank you all very much. This is a great deal, like doing a Carolyn Mungo newscast in Dallas. They put me on near the end of the program and tell me we're running long, so hurry up and make it short. And you thought you weren't going to get a shout out tonight. Forgive me, I had to keep my eye on that video a little closer than some of you, because the man who narrated that and put it together is one of the greatest storytellers I've ever known in my business, and I fired him twice. And I just want to make sure there were no hard feelings, and apparently there's not. Before I crawl up on my box, and I am bound to do that, my friend the judge and I have been friends for 35 plus years. I'm still trying to figure out why he thinks that's a good idea to tell people that I would cover up a murder for him. I guess there's a compliment in there somewhere, but I'll be damned if I know what it is. But one of my other favorite stories about the judge, and when you live a life like I do, it's always good to have friends on the bench. And I was in New York covering the Dallas Cowboys playing the Giants, and the judge called me and said, "Are you there for the game?" I said, "Of course." He said, "I'm going to be there visiting my mom." He said, "Would you like to come to dinner?" He picks me up at the hotel, and we're driving through Harlem on our way to Queens. We stop at an intersection, and there's 7 young men standing on that street corner, and not one of them looked like me. And I'm sitting there just being as calm and collected as I can be. And the judge looks over, and I promise you this is a true story. The judge looks over and he said, are you nervous? And I said, well, no, I'm not nervous. Not with you in that seat, I'm not. And then I looked at him. I said, why? Are you nervous? He goes, with you in that seat, I am. I said, well, then let's go. We went to his mom's house for dinner. She cooks like a farm wife. I weighed 193 pounds when I went in there, and I left weighing 247. Baby, you've only had 7 slices of roast beef. But I'm from Logan, Iowa. I never went to college. I have had, since I got out of the Navy in 1969, I've had 11 jobs in my professional life, and I have been fired from 8 of them. I've had 11 jobs in my life, and I have been fired from 8 of them. I don't tweet. Carolyn, I don't think, is very happy about the fact that I don't, but I figured out a long time ago that I've never thought I had anything that needed to be said or was worth saying in 280 characters or less. And every time I see a tweet on my morning feeds, I'm thinking nobody else does either. I'll wait for you to catch up on that one. I might not have crafted that joke as well as I thought I had, but I always wanted to be a disc jockey. I got a job as a disc jockey, and then I realized it's the worst job in America. So they offered me the opportunity to be a news reporter, and I fell in love with this business in 1973. It was at the height of the Watergate investigation, and I could not get enough of the work that was being done by the Washington Post and Carl Bernstein and Bob Woodward. I was watching Walter Cronkite and John Chancellor report the news, and I fell in love with this business. And the work that Mr. Bernstein and Bob Woodward did back then, exposing the corruption of the Nixon administration, was eventually made into a movie where Mr. Bernstein was played by Dustin Hoffman and Bob Woodward was played by a young Robert Redford, which I believe is the first documented case of fake news in America. And then I walked. Are you still with me, Mr. Bernstein? Are you still with me, sir? I walked in to a TV station in Omaha, Nebraska in 1977. And I got hired for the job because I actually had never been inside a TV station. And of the 11 men who auditioned for it, I was the only one who didn't know what a teleprompter was. And they did not allow us to use a teleprompter. And I eventually got hired, and I met maybe the single greatest influence in my life professionally in Danny Livingston, who's here tonight. Danny Livingston taught me everything I know about this business. What he taught me 40 years ago still stands up today in Dallas, Texas. And all I would say about Danny Livingston is, if you don't have a Danny Livingston in your life, I would strongly suggest you go find one. I get fired in Omaha, Nebraska, and it strikes us both tonight that of the 7 Lifetime Achievement Award winners, 2 of us worked at KMTV in Omaha, Nebraska, Tom Brokaw and me. And that's where the similarities end. But I just think it proves the point, which I have always said. Omaha, Nebraska is not the end of the world. But if you'll face west, you can sure as hell see it from there, right? I come to Dallas, Texas, I get fired again. And that's when my life changed forever. I was hired by the great Marty Haig, who has been honored by this very organization. And it was Marty Haig who encouraged me to start writing. Several years go by, the Tegna Corporation buys Channel 8, and I had heard all the horror stories about a corporate ownership group from way away from the local base, only to find out that Tegna President Dave Luigi, Ellen Crook, and all the great people of Tegna have maybe been the most supportive group I've ever worked with at any point in my life. I know for a fact they don't agree with everything I say. They don't support everything I do, but they have never once denied me the opportunity to say what I believe. I speak, ladies and gentlemen, for my granddaughter. I don't write for a check. I don't speak out for an award. I write for my granddaughter. My granddaughter's black. And not a week in Texas goes by that someone doesn't remind her of what it means to be black in America. I told my granddaughter, Mackenzie, I said, I'm going to D.C., and I'm going to talk about you in front of this group. And she said, that's okay, Papa. When don't you talk about me? I write for Mackenzie because I want her to live in a better world than I grew up in and continue to live in today. I want her to have a better world than I had. And that's why it offends me. It's why it disgusts me when we are referred to as fake news, when we are referred to as the enemy of the American people. We are the people who tell the truth. We report the facts and we expose the lies. Do we make mistakes sometimes? Of course we do. But anyone who is dumb enough to confuse the occasional media mistake with media bias would be dumb enough to confuse today's weather with climate. We report the facts. We report the facts, we tell the truth, and we expose the lies. And if not us, who? We provide the checks and balance that is missing in America because we know the House members, not nearly enough of them will do it. We know too many senators won't do it. The cabinet has never done it. And we are the last opportunity to provide the check and balance because we are becoming perilously close to the day when our courts won't do it either. We, ladies and gentlemen, being referred to as the enemy of the American people offends me because we are the sons and daughters of truck drivers and teachers, cab drivers and cooks. We are the sons and daughters of those who work on our farms and in our factories, the sons and daughters of those who work on Wall Street and Main Street. Our parents are some of the richest people in America and some of the poorest people in America. We come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. We speak several languages. We follow every religion, and in some cases, no religion at all. We are not the enemy of the American people because we are the American people. We tell the truth, we report the facts, and we expose the lies by speaking truth to power. The First Amendment, freedom of the press, might be the greatest use of pen and paper ever. And as individually flawed in their personal lives as those founding fathers were, it's incredibly brilliant what they put down on paper, and it has proven to be the bedrock of this foundation and has allowed America to survive and thrive for more than 230 years now. If the day comes, if we were to abdicate our responsibility, if we were to ignore the obligation that we have to the American people, that we did not challenge the lies, we did not report the facts, we did not tell the truth, if we allow that day to come to America, then America won't matter anymore either. What we do matters. What we do is too important to give up now. And I want to close with one final thing, if I may. My wife, Chris, is here tonight, and she is the reason that I'm here tonight. We met at that TV station in Omaha, Nebraska in 1977. I asked her out on a date to see if I could win a bet from Danny and Jim Kelter and John Clark. I won $80. Only to find out that it's cost me well over $3.5 million since. But I want to leave you with this one last story, if I may, and I know I've taken plenty of your time. But everything I have, ladies and gentlemen, everything I've ever done in my life, every great person I've ever met, every great story I have ever covered, every check I have ever cashed, every award I have ever won is because of that woman right there. She stood beside me when others wouldn't. She defended me when she probably shouldn't have. And she even financially supported me when I couldn't afford to pay my own bills. That woman is the reason I'm here tonight. Because everything I am, everything I hope to be yet someday in my life, every award I've won, every dollar I have ever made, I owe to her. And I must admit, I do hate saying that publicly, especially when it's being recorded, because I'm still afraid to this day that someday her lawyer is going to read that back to me. You know? I thank you very much for this. I thank you very much. You're very kind. Thank you very much.